and you're missing out on creating memories and learning about yourself by spending so much time focusing on someone who literally has no idea who you are. What do you contribute to this industry? Like, why are you here? What do you do successfully? Quickly. Every relationship he has after that is annoying. Him in general, annoying. And if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. If you don't, I genuinely do feel bad for you because you're missing out. I don't get it when people say it's PR. I'm like, why would she need that? You're weird, and you need to stop. You're weird. Hey, what's up you guys, it's me Luke and welcome back to another video, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Although I'm assuming most of you watching this are probably returning subscribers, so thank you for once again coming back to my channel. But if you are new here, I post commentary videos about movies, TV shows, and reality TV with a bit of pop culture sprinkled in. However, today's video is going to be quite different. This is a different filming location than you're used to seeing me on YouTube. I usually film over there. I'm at my desk today, which is where I usually film my Patreon videos, because I thought it would be fun to do a little chit chat, get ready with me video. I've got my makeup here, I've got my mirror here, and also just respond to some of your guys' unpopular opinions, because I really wanted to do a chatty video because it's actually been a while since I filmed a video, because I filmed my last video, which was my wild child video, back in like the beginning of February, I think. And then I went to the Eras tour in Melbourne for a week, and then when I came back was just doing some Patreon stuff, and I have also been deep cleaning, spring cleaning my house for the past 5 days. So I wanted to ease back into things. Also thought it would be fun to do a more relaxed video with you guys, and it's just been ages since I did an unpopular opinion video, and I used to do them all the time. So I thought this would be a collaborative, fun video, very chill, very chatty, because I'm going to be getting ready to film a Patreon video. So yeah, if you're ever wondering where I'm at, if I'm not posting a YouTube video, I'm on Patreon. So today's video that I'll be filming on Patreon after this is another Vampire Diaries scene breakdown. It'll be focusing on the brothers bond between Stefan and Damon and Elijah and Klaus, because that is my last Patreon video for season 2. And then Vampire Diaries season 3 is coming, so stay tuned. I got a wall cooking over there. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Like I said, we'll be responding to unpopular opinions that you guys left me on the various platforms that I'm on. So if you ever want to be part of that in the future, or just see what I'm up to, all my social media and everything will be linked in the description, as well as like any video that I mention. Yeah, I'll be doing lots of chatting throughout this vid. It's not going to be heavily edited, very chill. Grab yourself a drink. I had a coffee about 2 hours ago, and then I just finished drinking a lemon and ginger and honey herbal tea, because after 5 days of deep cleaning my house, you know, I'm allergic to dust, so shit's pretty ripe up in here. Also got some tissues in case I dribble. Gonna try keep the sniffing to a minimum. But yeah, I think that's enough of that, honestly. Oh, let me put in my hairband. This is what I do to keep the hair out of my face. I'm also gonna have to take off my glasses, which I don't know, for some of you might be shocking, because I always film with them because I can't see. So yeah, usually when I do my makeup, I sit on my couch over there in front of my mirrored wardrobe that's in this room, but today we've got a mirror right in front of me. Okay, so first unpopular opinion. Well, actually, you know what, before we do that, let's just get into the base, right? Because I need to be blending while I'm talking about it. So first of all, Maybelline Matte and Poreless Normal to Oily Skin in shade 118, which is light beige. This is going to be honestly such a flop of a get ready with me, because this is not the kind of content that I film. But our first unpopular opinion is about unpopular opinions. My unpopular opinion is that I don't have any unpopular opinions, and I don't entirely believe in unpopular opinions. I think there are certainly opinions that I objectively disagree with, most of which are based on conservative, bigoted, misogynistic, ableist rhetoric, which is factually just wrong in so many ways. But otherwise, I think that people see things as very black and white a lot of the time, which many things aren't, because there are so many circumstances that aren't taken into account, and no person can speak for everyone's experience. Two things can be true at once. I think that's obviously an approach to like a more serious unpopular opinion, but when I think of unpopular opinions, I mainly think of like stuff that isn't like political. I think that's a difference of opinion and values. I'm also think of like, you know, music, movies, TV shows, like stuff that's not like super serious, you know? I think like unpopular opinions are just like kind of a fun way to have a lively debate. Although if you're on twitter.com or x.com, as Mr. Musk wants to call it, it's honestly not very good. And what am I doing? I need to stop being silly and just use the brush. I just hate the way this feels on my skin. And I clean my brushes, don't get it twisted, but something about this, it's like, ugh, I just don't like it. I do not like it. But yeah, these kind of unpopular opinions that I want to talk about are really not that serious. Like, I think I even said in the post, like, let's keep it light, let's keep it fun, let's keep it fresh. Nothing too serious. Next unpopular opinion, which is not an unpopular opinion, but I just wanted to include it. We miss you. Now, I get these kind of comments every now and then, which I find very strange because I'm here. I know I don't post on YouTube as much as I did way back in the day when I made like drama commentary videos, but you know, it's all relative. Those videos I used to make were a lot easier and quicker to make, and the videos themselves were a lot shorter, like 15 to 20 minutes. I could make them in a day or two. You know, you can see from my channel, the kind of videos I make now range from 40 minutes to like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and they require a lot more time and effort, and there's a lot more pre-planning. So yeah, while I don't post as often anymore on YouTube, the content I post is longer, and in my opinion, a lot better. So I do apologize, but I am really trying to post more frequently. I think I've been averaging probably 2 videos a month. I would love to get it to 3 consistently, and then yeah, 3 videos on YouTube and then my 3 on Patreon. But honestly, I just feel like it goes with the kind of content that I'm making at the moment. It's just not the kind of thing that I can post super frequently. And then on top of that, YouTube just doesn't notify people or show people my videos anymore because the algorithm doesn't like me ever since I stopped, you know, making that kind of content that got a lot more views. So yeah, I mean, that's why I say, like, you know, have the post notifications bell on, or if you follow me on socials, you'll be able to see my stuff. But I mean, if you genuinely miss me, I'm sorry, but thank you. Appreciate that. But I'm here. I'm here. The next comment, you know, while we're on the topic of YouTube, is YouTube has become really, really boring. I don't know why everyone switched to TikTok. I enjoy a 20 to 30 minute long YouTube video rather than an 8-minute one, let alone 2 to 3 minute TikTok. I think our attention span is not reduced, but there is just no long content anymore. This I really disagree with. I'm not sure if this is considered an unpopular opinion. I feel like there was definitely a conversation a few years ago or even a year ago of people talking about YouTube dying and TikTok taking over, but I definitely think there's been a shift because of TikTok being introduced and them like continuously allowing people to post longer and longer videos. You know, I think they started off with like 15 seconds, then 60, then 3 minutes. Now you can post 10-minute videos on there, I'm pretty sure. I think the landscape of YouTube has changed because YouTube is not really, you know, for short videos as much anymore because people would rather just go to TikTok for something like that. By the way, I'm going in with concealer on my pimps, and then I'll probably go over with another layer of foundation in areas where I feel like I need it. So this is also Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 15, if you care to wonder. Yeah, so I think because of TikTok, you know, changing the short form content space, because really there wasn't much of one before that, I don't think. I mean, Instagram Reels kind of. But I think because of that, a lot of YouTube content has changed where people are keeping their more short form kind of content or condensing their thoughts and putting it on TikTok. Because back in the day, people would make a 10-minute video just to chuck in some mid-rolls about a topic that they could really cover in like 2 minutes. You know what I'm talking about. So I think that's kind of gone to that platform. And also I think it's really made a lot of YouTubers try and challenge themselves creatively to make videos on more in-depth topics and video essays and recaps and deep dives and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing as well. You know, I've started doing this since 2022 and I really enjoy it. I actually think it's a lot more fun to have these long form content that you can tell has more effort and thought put into it as opposed to these like short form content stretched into a longer video where it feels like it's wasting your time. You can get a lot snappier and quicker. So I do think that there's a space for both platforms. However, I understand that there isn't as much of a space for that 20 to 30 minute YouTube video, but you do have to put in a little bit of effort when it comes to finding creators on YouTube. I think, you know, the reason a lot of people flock to TikTok is one, attention span, sure, but also people have gotten really used to an algorithm that just feeds them content that they just swipe through. They don't have to read the thumbnail or the title and choose whether they're going to click on it and sit there and watch it. They just swipe through and it's just fed to them. So there's that like effort that people don't want to put in anymore. So I think there is a lot of great content on YouTube, and I watch such a variety of creators who have like 1,000 subscribers, creators who have 1 million, like is a very big range. I would say a lot of the content that I'm watching at the moment content is kind of similar to the kind of content I make. I love watching video essays and deep dives and stuff about movies and TV shows and music, and I think there's so much great content on YouTube. I think YouTube has gotten a lot better than it used to be. That is for sure. But you do have to put in a bit more effort to find the kind of content that you're interested in on YouTube as opposed to apps like TikTok. I also think things have changed. I actually deleted TikTok for a couple months because I was wasting a lot of time on there, and what I realized about it was, you know, when I watch a YouTube video, that I'll remember that video. That video could stick with me. It could give me an idea. There's like, you know, something interesting about it. TikTok's never stuck with me. I would watch and forget. And it just felt like it was like the fast food of content, you know? And I deleted TikTok because of that. And lo and behold, I ended up just watching Instagram Reels because I'm not going to delete my Instagram because I've had it for years and I post, you know, pictures and stories and stuff on there. So yeah, I ended up falling into the Instagram Reels trap, and honestly, it wasn't as bad as TikTok because Instagram Reels is just not as, like, the algorithm isn't as tailored to what you like, so there's a lot more random stuff on there. I mean, it's a little bit tailored. Like, I definitely find with Instagram Reels, it's like, oh, you like this? We'll just only give you this. So I would, like, watch a ton of videos of people making food, then I was watching a ton of hair care videos, and it just kind of spiraled like there. But then I ended up re-downloading TikTok recently because I started posting TikToks on there. I started posting shorter versions of my YouTube videos across Instagram and TikTok, and I really still don't use it that much anymore. And doing that has also made me use Instagram Reels less. And what I found is when it comes to those two apps or short form content in general, I use it in situations where I want to be on my phone for a very quick period of time to pass the time. So I'll use it if I'm like on the toilet, which, don't lie, I know we all do that. Or I will use it if I'm, you know, there's an ad on TV and you know, it's going for like a couple minutes, so like just watch something on my phone. Or if I'm waiting in line somewhere, like in the doctor's office or something like that, you know, it's like filler. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and scroll through my phone and watch TikToks for 3 hours. That's not how I treat it anymore. And I know some people do, and I do think it's like a trap that people need to break, because really think about what you get from that. My attention span was so rotted for a while that I couldn't even sit through a movie, let alone an episode of a TV show. So my detachment from short form content has really helped with that. Let's take a moment to figure out what's going on with this situation. Do I need to conceal more? I think I do. But then I want to move on. I don't know if I need to do a second layer of foundation. And oh my god, my nose is running. I hate when this happens when I do my makeup, because then I can like accidentally end up rubbing it in my face, which is so gross. But my allergies are so bad. My sinuses are just trying to like flush everything out. Apologies, but I'm a human with human bodily functions. Yeah, but I love YouTube. I honestly think it's gotten a lot better, and I just can't imagine my life without it. And I appreciate YouTube content creators a lot. Like, I'm sorry, there's very few short form content creators where I'm like, oh my god, that's so creative, that's so cool. Like, very few. Whereas there's so many YouTubers where I'm like, it's a skill. I don't feel like just anyone could be successful on YouTube. Whereas I feel like it's, you know, pretty easy to pop off, and like when you're only having to be entertaining for less than a minute. To be able to hold someone's attention span for like an hour or longer, that's a skill. Anyway, I definitely spoke about that too much, but I have a lot of thoughts about that, being someone who's been making YouTube videos since, you know, 2017, before Instagram Reels and before TikTok was even a thing. Next up, while we're actually on this topic, I kind of tried to do things in a way that fed through. We're going to talk about the comment that Billie Eilish made at the People's Choice Awards, I think it was. I honestly, can I just say, why are all of the award shows at the beginning of the year? Like, why are they all so close together? It's like very overwhelming, and I can't keep up with all of them. I feel like the MTV Music Awards were like at a very random time last year when nothing else was happening, so I paid a lot of attention to it. I like how the Met Gala's in May, so it's like, I don't like when they're all like so close together. It's really, I can't keep up. Like, what is the People's Choice Awards even about? I'm assuming it's about music, but I don't know. So yeah, Billie Eilish was there because she's on a world tour promoting her one song, which is When Did It End? All the enjoyment. What's that song called? Honestly, I think I've deleted it from my brain because I got so sick of hearing it. What Was I Made For? From the Barbie soundtrack, which at first I was like, that's a cute song, but then classic gets overplayed and now I can't stand it. Next up, I'm going to set my face a little bit. I honestly don't think I concealed this very well, but it'll do. We got the Maybelline New York Shine Free Loose Powder. I hate using this because it gets everywhere, but it's pretty good for the T-zone and under the eyes. So let's attempt. You know what? You know why it gets everywhere? Because there's no handle on this puff. Whoever designed this is an idiot. Like, I don't even know, like, okay.
So what am I supposed, I mean, how am I gonna, I can't even,
Yeah, so Billie Eilish made, well, I really went off topic there. Billie Eilish made a comment to another celebrity, forget who it is, and she whispered to them, like tried to cover her hand, but there was like a camera and a mic right near her so people could understand what she was saying. And she was like, why are there so many TikTokers here? Like, in a way where she was like, ew, like, well, why are they here? Why are they in our space? And honestly, like, fair enough. Like, over the years, there's been influencers who have started being invited to, you know, events like the Met Gala and the Grammys or whatever, and those numbers just keep increasing. It makes sense from a marketing standpoint because, you know, the people who are marketing these events, they're trying to keep their ratings up because they did get a lot lower. And they think, okay, well, if we invite these influencers, then their followers will watch it, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I'm like, and I used to think this in the 2010s when the Kardashians would go to events about music and movie and TV, and they're like glorified influencers. I was like, you don't do this talent. Why are you here? You don't work in this industry. Why are you here? It's different if they're dating someone who works in that industry, like when Kylie Jenner went with Timothy Chalamet to the Golden Globes, or when Kim used to go with Kanye to the Grammys. Like that makes sense. But like Kendall would just go to the Oscars and she wasn't dating an actor and she isn't one either. So like, why are you here kind of vibe? And that's how I think of it. I'm like, when all these random TikTokers are here who like sit at home and make videos on their iPhones about like story times and like, I don't know, like whatever. I'm like, okay, but what do you contribute to this industry? Like, why are you here? So, and I think the issue is the saturation of it. There was like more influencers than actual traditional celebrities there. I don't think it's too much of an issue when you have a couple of them there, but when there's so many, it's like, God, like enough is enough, please. Like it dilutes what it is about. And I can understand Billie's frustration with that because a lot of people used to have to work really hard to go into those rooms. And I'm sorry, I just still don't see TikTokers in the same caliber as celebrities. I do think there needs to be a division. That's just that on that. There is a difference, you know? They have different names for a reason. They're called influencers for a reason. I think you have your celebrities, you have your reality stars, you have your influencers, and you have your content creators, which I fall in because I'm not trying to influence anyone, I'm trying to entertain. But yeah, that's a long-winded spiel about how I feel about that. Because the comments that I got about it, which I realized I didn't even actually read out. I'll read this one. The situation's baking. TikTokers at award shows ruin them. There's no exception. Well, there you go. I guess we agree on that. Probably super unpopular. I think it's hilarious how these supposed A-list celebrities are getting their fragile egos hurt by seeing all these irrelevant TikTokers being at huge events like award shows and fashion shows. Oh, don't even get me started on the fashion shows when it's like creators who don't even make content about fashion. They really thought they're at a different caliber of fame, but it just shows what celebrity worship has done to rot their brains as well as us as peasants. Anyways, I hope you see what I'm getting at. Love your videos and miss you, Luke. I do see what you're getting at. I do think a lot of celebrities have egos that make them feel like, oh, I'm so much better. Like there's definitely layers to it, but in general, I think either they shouldn't be there or they need to reduce the amount of influencers are there or invite influencers or content creators in situations that it makes sense. Like early on, you know, 2018, 2019, when Emma Chamberlain started going to fashion shows, that made sense because she made content about fashion. Ashley from Best Dressed going to those, that makes sense. But I'm just gonna call him out. Chris Olsen, who's at every event known to man, like, let me ask you one question, Chris Olsen. What do you do successfully? Quickly.
Let me ask you a very fair question. What do you do successfully? Quickly.
So, pick a lane and drive in that lane. Don't be in all 4 lanes on the freeway. Like, you need to pick one. You're causing a collision. Last one. People care way too much about celebrities' personal lives. Like, you can love their music, their movies, their shows, but I don't understand why you need to be obsessed with everything in their personal life. It's because life is boring. It's because a lot of people's lives are boring. And a lot of people look for entertainment through celebrities, through social media, through entertainment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. Like, you know, I'm a big Swiftie, as you can tell. Obviously, that stems from the music, but I enjoy keeping up with Taylor's personal life. Do I have a fan page for her? And do I stalk her location? No. So I do think there are people who take it too far, and I think that speaks to their own life where they don't have enough going on personally that they feel like they need to focus more on a celebrity's life than their own. So there's layers, and people need to detach themselves a little bit more from their screens and start making their own lives interesting. At the end of the day, what's said and done is the memories that you make in your own life will stick with you longer than what you witness from a celebrity's life. life and keeping up with it on a daily basis, and you're missing out on creating memories and learning about yourself by spending so much time focusing on someone who literally has no idea who you are. I don't know where I'm going at with that, but I definitely agree. I think it's gotten a lot. But I mean, that's with social media. That's, you know, that's why it's gotten more and more intense. I mean, there's always been crazed fans like since the dawn of time. So, I mean, it's not a new thing. I just think with social media, a lot of things are exacerbated, you know? Anyway, let's get into some blush. Maybelline Fit Me blush again in the shade Fard Ajouge. I don't know, I think that's French, and this is Broken. Next up, we have unpopular opinions about some celebrities. This whole Rachel Ziegler hate has been too much. This poor woman can't have any opinion because of the videos of how she expresses how she feels. Honestly, I really did not know what to think of the Rachel Ziegler situation for a bit because I hadn't watched her in anything, so I was like, it's weird for me to have an opinion on this. And then I saw the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and, you know, started paying a little bit of attention to the discourse.
You're starring in Snow White, the new version. How's it going?
It's going really, really well. We're having so much fun on set. It's so magical. And every day I'm just pinching myself that I'm a freaking Disney princess. It's so stupid.
I have to pretend like, oh, God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
I'm a narcissist.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
I honestly think that people give Rachel Ziegler a lot of flack because of her interviews where she seems to like be like, oh, I don't care about that, or she's very outspoken. She doesn't try and seem polite. But honestly, I like that. To me, she seems very genuine and authentic. She's just like speaking how she feels. She's like not giving to the whole like, I'm a celebrity, I need to put on a facade and like I need to act even when I'm not acting. And you know, she's like, I've seen videos of her like saying to paparazzi like, I'm a person, treat me as such, or like, oh, you know, like I needed a job, that's why I took this role. Which when people like Robert Pattinson say it, it's like, oh my god, he's so funny, love that. So there's an element of sexism, and then there's also an element of the generational thing. Like, she's a young girl, people give a lot of flack to young girls, especially as time has gone on, it's gotten worse. Because do you remember, using this as a perfect parallel, Jennifer Lawrence, when she was, you know, doing press for the Hunger Games, and even just earlier on in her career, she was kind of similar to Rachel Ziegler.
Well, what was the process? I don't know. I just woke up and tried on the dress and it fit, thank God. And then I took a shower and then I came to the Oscars. I'm sorry, I did a shot before I...
The fall on the way up to the stage.
Was that on purpose?
Was
Absolutely.
it a fall? What happened?
What do you mean what happened? Look at my dress.
Like, she made crude jokes, she spoke her mind, she was authentic, she just kind of like was a bit goofy and silly. And people found it really endearing, but then with Rachel Ziegler, they find it annoying. And people will be like, oh, like, you're so ungrateful for this role, like, if she complains about something. And it's like, yeah, fair. But at the same time, it's still a job. Like, what, would you rather her lie and be like, oh, I took this role because I just really connected with this, and this? Or would you rather her be real and be like, I needed a job, they offered me the role, I took it? Like, I appreciate that. I can read through the BS when people are faking it about their roles or music or whatever it is, and I would rather have authenticity. I'm gonna move on from that. So this is the e.l.f. Cosmetics bronzer palette. I'm gonna go in with this shade. So yeah, the next unpopular opinion without fail is an unpopular opinion I would get anytime I requested unpopular opinions, and I'm sure any other creator who does, is the classic Beyonce is overrated. Oh my god, if I had $1 for every time I saw this comment. First of all, I think it's so dumb when people call something overrated, because what even is overrated? It's something popular that you don't get, you don't like, you don't get the hype, so automatically you're like, oh, it's overrated. But it's popular for a reason. And if you think it's overrated, you really just don't like it and you don't get it, and it's not for you, which is fine, because no matter how popular something is, not everyone's gonna like it. So I think calling something overrated is just silly, because there are really popular things out there that I don't like, but I'm not like, oh, it's overrated. Underrated, on the other hand, makes sense to me, because underrated's like, okay, well, maybe not enough people have been exposed to this, so let me, you know, it's underrated. But I think when people say something's overrated, I'm like, expand on that, please. It's just, ugh. And then also the whole Beyonce comment, I mean, similar to what Taylor Swift gets now, because they're both like the, you know, biggest selling tours that are going on at the moment, but I feel like this Beyonce comment's been going on for a while. Beyonce is a legend in the music industry. She has made waves in various different avenues for R&B and for pop and for Afrobeats and for the Black community, POC. She's included LGBTQ people in her music and media. And I think, you know, her transition from Destiny's Child, which is such an iconic girl group of the 90s, and her music from the early 2000s, which is great, and the way she's reinvented herself with the Renaissance album, and now she's tapping into country music. You know, it's just, I love the stuff Beyonce does, even though I don't listen to all of her music. I do tend to lean more towards her stuff from the 90s with Destiny's Child and her music from the Y2K era, but I think Beyonce is great. I think she's a legend, and I don't understand people always coming for her neck, but that's what happens when you're popular, so I guess it makes sense. But if you don't like Beyonce, or you think she's overrated, she's just not for you. Like, you probably just don't get it, and I don't think I fully get it, but I can appreciate it. That will always be my response to the whole Beyonce's overrated comment. This next comment kind of basically sums up what I said. It says, hating on things only because they're popular is not quirky, it's annoying. Agreed. I think humans have this weird nature to either, you know, try and fit in and be a part of something, or to be a contrarian and purposely try and isolate or alienate themselves from what's popular so that they can feel more unique or interesting or different about themselves. I think by nature, in different aspects of our life, humans lean towards being a contrarian, and sometimes people do it a bit too much, and it's annoying. Next up, I got quite a long comment about the Kardashians, which makes sense for me to talk about considering I have my Kardashians reality show reaction series, which if you didn't see my last video, definitely check it out. It was a really fun video. I really liked that video, actually, so I'll link that down below. Kind of the ending, hopefully, of the Kourtney Kim drama saga. Let me put on my glasses for this. I don't know if this counts as unpopular, but I'm getting really tired of the Kardashians and Jenners. I feel like they all get major passes in areas that we would normally attack other celebrities and influencers for. It might just be the media cycle around the family that moves so fast that nothing stays relevant with them for long, both the good and the bad. Also, I try not to sound like a Kourtney apologist or supporter when I say this, but I seriously think the family therapy shamed her. Like, all of a sudden, Kourtney goes to therapy and starts to do some inner changes and makes herself feel like she's her own person outside of the family, and Kim and the rest of them go against her for multiple reasons. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who sees the connection. Also, yeah, her and Travis could definitely turn down the PDA, especially around the kids, but at the end of the day, if that's how they're able to fulfill each other's love and needs and are able to have a strong relationship that provides stability for their families, that's not the end of the world. So I'm probably not going to talk too much about the whole PDA thing because I feel like I speak a lot about that in my series, and honestly I've just gotten used to it and I'm kind of over it. When it comes to the media cycle part of your comment, I agree. I think that is the Kris Jenner PR management at work, is everything with the Kardashians moves super quickly, and there's so many of them that if something intense is going on with one person, they can divert our attention to another and use that as like a distraction. I'm trying to cover up some of these pimples down here that I didn't get. Honestly, it doesn't really matter because I use my hair to cover half of my face. So this is a flop. Get ready with me. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. I should have just sat here and talked. I mean, I don't know, you guys can let me know if it's not as bad as I think it is, but damn, I'm not loving this. Honestly, my skin is not really doing well lately, which I think is because of all the cleaning, like the dust, the chemicals, whatever. Shut up, stay on track, Luke. The Kourtney therapy situation is interesting to me. I think you make a great point about that. I think Kourtney going to therapy and realizing just how toxic her family is and how much she wants to change and not be a part of that as much, but then they're all kind of still on that same page, does isolate her and makes her struggle with it. But I've said this for a while now, that the issue with Kourtney is I think deep down she knows she needs to detach herself from her family and not be as involved in the Kardashian-Jenner empire, but this girl can't say goodbye to the money. If she was not entangled with them with work stuff, like not on the reality show, I think it would be a lot better for her. Like, I don't know, if she still wants to do reality TV, why not do like a spin-off with Kourtney and Travis and their blended family? Because that would be very similar to how the Kardashians and Jenners had their blended family back in the original series in the beginning of it. I think that's actually a good idea. Hulu, if you take that, I would like some sort of payback revenue. You guys heard it here first. Will I watch it? Probably not, but I think that would be a good idea. I think people like that kind of family-oriented blended family content. But yeah, I struggle to feel bad for Kourtney because I'm like, you're setting yourself up. Like, you need to just detach. And you know what I need to do? I need to stick a plug up my forking nostril because I'm sick of it. Do you ever just try to conceal a pimple and it just doesn't work? What are we gonna do next? We need a bronze. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna just get into the Vampire Diaries ones because it's really about one topic. So a girl named Allie, who I'm online friends with, she's another creator here on YouTube. She's watching the Vampire Diaries for the first time, so we've been chatting about it. She left an unpopular opinion saying, I kind of don't hate Maddie Blue Eyes from the Vampire Diaries, Matt Donovan, which is an unpopular opinion because most of the fandom does not like this character. If you've watched the show, you know why. If you haven't, you can go watch my Vampire Diaries series. But Matt Donovan is just irritating because he's like the only character that stays human pretty much, and he just like never dies, and he's just boring, and he just isn't really part of a lot of the storylines, and they just kind of jam him in there, and it's just, I mean, I could go on about it. There's a lot of reasons that I don't like him. However, these unpopular opinions from this other user really kind of indicates my change of opinion of him after starting my series on the Vampire Diaries and being a lot more analytical about the show. Even though I do rewatch it every year, obviously creating my Vampire Diaries series where I'm like watching these episodes over and over again and scripting it and spending a lot of time with them, I'm looking at the show a lot more analytically. So this person kind of touches on what I'll say. They say, in season 1 of The Vampire Diaries, I feel like Matt Donovan is actually a good character. I feel like we often look over the struggles he has with his mom and his father. We also look over him putting Tyler in his place and defending Jeremy. I don't know, it might just be me. He's definitely annoying at times, but I feel like we only see the bad. This is where my perception of Matt has changed because I do relate to his storyline with his absentee or neglectful mother, you know, to a certain degree, and his struggles with his sibling and stuff. And I do think Matt goes through a lot that's not supernaturally related. I mean, so did some of the other characters as well, of course, but I think people are not as, oh, by the way, going in with some bronzer, MCO Beauty, Silky Smooth Bronzer, people are not as empathetic towards him. So I think from what I've, you know, seen with this rewatch from being more analytical, Matt is a lot better in the earlier seasons. Like season 1 and 2, a bit of season 3, he's okay, but once he starts to know more, this is a bit of a spoiler if you want to skip. I mean, who cares? The show's been out forever. I don't think it's a huge spoiler, but once he finds out about the supernatural world and he starts getting more involved with it, that's when he starts to annoy me because he's like, oh, I hate vampires. Oh, everyone's a vampire. Oh yeah, we're friends, but I don't trust you because at the end of the day, you're a vampire. And I'm just like, boy, like, if you hate the supernatural, why are you in a town where everyone you know is supernatural? Like, move. And he should have died many times. But the actor was sleeping, allegedly, with one of the producers, so it makes sense why he stayed on the show so long. In concluding thoughts, I do empathize with him with his family situation, but beyond that, everything else kind of annoys me. The way he handles the breakup with Elena in the beginning of the show is annoying. The way he handles his relationship with Caroline is annoying. Every relationship he has after that is annoying. Him in general, annoying. Like, the perfect way to describe Maddie Blue Eyes is annoying. And in the first couple seasons, he's not, but later on, I just can't stand him. And that's just how I feel on that. So I think people should probably, you know, maybe show a bit more empathy towards Matt. But at the end of the day, it's kind of just fun to make jokes about not liking Matt Donovan. Even Paul Wesley, the actor who played Stefan, makes them all the time. It's kind of like lore to the fandom. And if you've been in the fandom since like the beginning or for a while, like disliking Matt Donovan or ripping on him and making jokes about him is like part of the lore. I hate the way this makeup looks. I hate it. This is why I don't film Get Ready With Me. It's because I cannot multitask. I mean, I can, but like, not when it comes to something that requires attention to detail. Like, let's do some highlighter. I've got this one, which is MCO Beauty, similar to the bronzer, Silky Smooth highlighter. Whew. Okay, next unpopular opinion. This one is Nicki Minaj is not the queen of rap. I mean, who is? I mean, I always thought it was Nicki, but to be honest, I don't really listen to a lot of rap music. I mean, I don't know. I went through a Cardi phase when she first started. Been a Barb for ages when the stuff went down with Cardi and Nicki. I like Doja Cat, but she's not just a rapper. She does other stuff too. I really like Megan Thee Stallion, and a lot of the beef that's been happening with Megan and Nicki at the moment has made me be really questioning Nicki, and there's a lot of things about Nicki's personal life, like her husband and stuff, and the way she approaches stuff, and the way she wants to tear down other upcoming rappers that I don't really like. But the music is so good, and like the personality, like she's funny, and like her aesthetic, and like Nicki Minaj is just an icon. Like, I've been listening to her since like, what, 2010? Is that when Pink Friday came out? Like, I don't know, it's hard for me to not think of her as like the pinnacle of like female rap music, you know? But I will say her behavior lately has been very questionable. And I am really getting into my Megan Thee Stallion bag. I mean, I've liked Megan for a while, but her new music, Hiss and Cobra, I believe they're called, those songs are good. And the music videos are stunning. Nicki at the moment with the AI nonsense, it's giving low effort. And Pink Friday 2 was a letdown. There's a couple songs on there that were cute. She listened to it through a couple times, but I don't know, I'm not really vibing. For me, it's just all about Pink Friday, the Pink Print, and even Queen. I feel like Queen doesn't get enough appreciation. I really like that album. Nicki is still the queen of rap, but I think that's just a personal preference, isn't it? But yeah, that is kind of an unpopular opinion because most people do regard her as the queen of rap. I think she calls herself that, so she probably manifested that. Okay, let's move on to these eyebrows. I could probably do this while having my glasses on. We've got the MCO Beauty Brow Lift in light and medium. As you can tell, most of my stuff is like Maybelline and MCO Beauty. Oh, this is a good one because this leads into something I wanted to touch on about like gender and stuff. I hate when people, usually women, call/refer to their female friends as girlfriends. I'm from the US and hear this a lot, especially from people in the South. It really throws me off as a queer woman, and I honestly don't understand the need to distinguish gender when referring to friends. Yeah, I agree. I don't get the whole like, I'm a girlfriend, like just say your friend. Like because it's not like straight guys are like, oh yeah, me and my boyfriend are gonna hang out. They just say my boys. Like, why can't you say like me and my girls? Like, yeah, girlfriend's a bit But I do think they came from a time back when queer people were like, you know, living in the shadows and hiding their identities. So that word wasn't used as much in that way. And it was used a lot more in the friendship term. But yeah, language needs to be adopted and changed. But the reason I thought this would be a good segue is because weirdly enough, the past couple months, I've been getting a couple comments here and there on Instagram and YouTube about people asking me if I'm transitioning like into a woman. And the way that these people comment this stuff, or when it comes from like no face accounts and stuff like that, to me, it's not coming from a good faith place. You know, and even if it was, I think that's a weird question to ask someone because I'm not, first of all. But even if I was transitioning, like, that would be a very personal thing. And I wouldn't just, like, if I wanted to share it, I would. You can't really, like, coax that information out of people. But it was really bothering me because I was kind of like, why is this all of a sudden happening? Is it because, I don't know, because I've had longer hair for a while now. I've been wearing makeup for years here and there. I've always done my nails. Like, I still... Like my clothes, yeah, I might wear some women's clothes, but I'm not like wearing dresses and skirts and stuff. Like the way that I present myself has not really changed. I mean, obviously, if you look back at the way I've presented myself, I've gone through phases where I present myself more quote unquote masculine, more quote unquote feminine. I change my style. And that's because I don't have gender dysphoria, and I'm also comfortable in my masculinity and femininity and presenting however the F I want. Like, I was born a man, I'm okay with being a man. Like, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's not something I struggle with. Like, if I was born a woman, I'd probably be cool with that too. I think there's beauty in both genders, but I don't feel compelled to change it because if I want to do something, I'm just gonna do it, you know? So I guess, you know, if you like labels and terms, that'd be like gender non-conforming or like non-binary or something, but I just don't see it that way. I'm okay with people saying he, him. I'm okay with people referring to me as man. Like, I don't care because I am, and I just don't care to change that. It's not something I struggle with. I just want to present myself in whatever way I want. And my presentation in terms of masculinity and femininity really ebbs and flows with life. Like, I'm very fluid with my gender expression and my sexuality, you know? I've gotten to this place now where I don't care if people want to put a label on me with that because it's very hard for people not to and to be able to express yourself without it, you know, because I am very fluid with my sexuality. I get attracted to all kinds of people, but, you know, people will refer to me as gay and I'm okay with that. Bisexual, I'm okay with that. Pretty much, yeah, just everything except straight. But yeah, so just thought that was interesting. I thought it was a good segue because it's been something that I've been kind of curious about, but I do have, because there was a period of time in the pandemic when pronouns were becoming a more openly spoken about thing where people were asking me a lot. So I put it in my frequently asked questions on my on my YouTube about section that my pronouns are he, him, I'm a cis male, like etc, etc. Like all the labels that you want from me are all there. But, you know, I'm not a product. I don't need a label. And if you like labels because they, you know, help with your identity and understanding yourself, that's good for you. But please don't project your labels onto me. Thank you. Anyway, moving on. Okay, last one before we get into the Taylor Swift one, because I think this is funny. I think podcasts should be illegal. Why do you think podcasts should be illegal? That's so random. Is it because everyone and their mother and their brother and their sister and their dog run fast for your mother and fast for your father has a podcast? Because it's definitely an oversaturated market. You guys, can I just tell people in your life who are thinking of starting a podcast, be like, okay, but are you sure? Like, not everyone needs a podcast. If you have something to say, maybe just tweet it. But I really like podcasts. You know, I do think you have to sift through them to find the good ones. There's a lot of bad ones out there that are boring or don't make sense, or like people are talking over each other. Like, I don't know, they're not very focused. That's why I haven't brought my podcast back, because I'm like, I'm gonna wait till I really know, you know, what it's gonna be. I don't want to talk for the sake of talking. What eye look should I do? I've got this palette. Maybe I'll do this like sparkly gray sort of color. This is it's like a Morphe palette, but Morphe's like not a thing anymore, is it? So I don't know if I'll recommend that. This is from 2020, so definitely probably expired, but whatever. I'm gonna go in with that shade, and I'm not doing a very intricate eye look because that's gonna be really hard to do while I'm filming and talking. But yeah, if you're curious what podcasts I listen to, I listen to The Evolution of a Snake, which is a Taylor Swift podcast. I listen to the Cancer podcast with Tana Mojo and Brooke Schofield. I listen to Trisha Paytas' podcast. Sometimes I listen to the Zach Sang podcast or the H3 podcast, sometimes, because they post too much for me to keep up with. I like listening to the What Went Wrong podcast, which is like about movies. I like listening sometimes to Call Her Daddy. Oh, sometimes I listen to Emma Chamberlain's podcast as well. I used to be an avid listener of her podcast, but sometimes the topics just are a bit meh to me. But yeah, that's where I'm at with podcasts. If you have any recommendations, let me know. I love listening to podcasts when I'm cleaning, pretty much where I get most of my podcast listening done. Where's the pigment? Because that is not giving what I thought it was gonna give. It's not giving. Let's get a little bit in there. I'm gonna just end up doing a smoky, aren't I? I can feel it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up doing a smoky. Okay, let's bring out the dreaded James Charles X Morphe palette that I got in like 2019 or 2020, I don't remember. It was before the cancellations. Don't come for me. It would be wasteful to get rid of. Next of the unpopular opinions are what I'm sure some of you have been waiting for, which is why I left it till the end, because that's called marketing, which are the Taylor Swift ones. So surprisingly, quite a few of these were about Taylor and Travis, but there was two that weren't about Taylor and Travis. So let's talk about those first. Taylor Swift is good, but I don't get the hype. Girls will base their whole life off of her new album. Well, you guys already know how I feel about the whole, like, I don't get the hype, overrated thing, so I'm not even gonna talk about that. In terms of girls basing their whole life off of the new album, that's quite the hyperbole. That's quite an exagerator. Now, what I will say, being a Swiftie myself, I think people forget that men like Taylor Swift too. Not sure how many straight ones, but if there are any, slay, love that for you. Taylor Swift is just such a amazing artist, and it is such a fun, sometimes toxic, but fun for the most part, fandom to be a part of. I have a lot of fun being a Taylor Swift fan because Mother feeds us. She provides us with music. She's not like one of those artists that releases a new album every 5 years. So I enjoy that and I appreciate that. Honestly, like, don't you just want to have fun? Don't you just want to like be excited about something and have something to look forward to? When Taylor announces a new album, we get to just look forward to that date. And then, you know, people have listening parties and it's fun. The concert film's coming out on Disney Plus, and I'm having a friend over and we're gonna make Taylor Swift themed cocktails and we're gonna watch it together. It's just fun. You know, as Rachel Berry said, being a part of something special makes you special, right? And if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. If you don't, I genuinely do feel bad for you because you're missing out on a whole heap of fun, but that's okay. Once again, it goes back to staying in your lane. And also, some people just aren't big music people. I have people in my life where, like, they'll say they like an artist and they haven't listened to their album and that came out like 3 months ago. Some people just care more about music than others, and that's okay. But let girls live. Let girls enjoy what they want to enjoy. Have I botched this makeup look? Probably, because this is not the right brush for this, and if I'm being for real, I'm starting to give up. Honestly, we're going for a bit of a death look. It's a bit of a, I mean, I am filming a Vampires video, so Maybe that's okay. I like to go under the eyes. Because if you put eyeshadow under your eyes, it distracts from your eye bag. Where was my other eyeshadow brush that I was using before? Because that one is a lot better than the one I was just using. Oh, they're all down here. Next one is, okay, this kind of goes off to what I said, and then we'll get into the Tavis stuff, because I'm Tavis pilled. There's a lot of sexism involved with people who hate on Swifties. She has a lot of female fans, and when haters see how passionate they are about her albums and her tour, they instantly start hating. You can compare it to sports, when manly males will get intense about their favorite teams, yet no one will say they are being too much, even though statistics show how violence can be an aftermath when attending football games. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I feel like a lot of people in my circles, or, you know, the Swiftie circles or girls online agree with that. I think probably men, maybe some straight men wouldn't. But yes, there's a lot of sexism and hating on Taylor Swift fans for sure. You know, I think it's been known, we've discussed it a couple times on my channel about how there's a real issue with people hating on what young girls like, even though they're the ones who drive a lot of pop culture and, you know, the music and film and TV industry, really. And I think people always had that hate in them, but now that it's in a in-your-face way where you can't escape it, their hate has just reached a new level. And I don't know what's it like on your side of the street. I wouldn't know, because my side of the street is clean. That is not the lyric. I keep my side of the street clean. You wouldn't know what I mean. Or you need to calm down. You're being too loud. I mean, she literally has songs about this, doesn't she? I want to fit Taylor's famous quotes as making fun of something, making fun of someone for something they enjoy. It's the lowest form of person you can be. Like, let people be excited, let people have fun.
The worst kind of person is someone who makes someone feel bad, dumb, or stupid for, like, being excited about something.
Anyway, I botched this eye look beyond repair. So that's that. Okay, you know what I need to do? I need to feather. We need to blend. Okay, now getting into the Tavis stuff, which is our lost and popular opinions. Taylor Swift and Travis are PR. I haven't seen every interaction, but the few I've seen, noticeably when he won the Super Bowl, they never make eye contact when interacting and celebrating. She's always looking down and awkwardly patting him, and there's no chemistry in their kiss. Okay, lots to unpack here. First of all, we'll start with the bottom ones. Have you seen how tall that man is? Maybe it's not super easy to make eye contact. I'm kidding. There's like people everywhere. There's a lot going on. They're celebrating his win. He's got to hug her, his parents, his teammates, his coach, give speeches to the press. Like, come on, let's be realistic. Also, I don't think you can judge their chemistry based on a kiss that they know is being filmed and is public. You don't know how they kiss in private. That was like a celebration kiss. It wasn't like a passionate kiss. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors, and you don't need to know. That's another thing. I don't think this was written about here, but the people who speculate about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's intimate life, you're weird. And you need to stop. You're weird. There was someone who wrote a freaking fan fiction about it. I mean, I'm not surprised. And in terms of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship being PR, let me ask you this. Why would Taylor Swift, the #1 streamed artist on Spotify, having the biggest grossing tour, she just became a billionaire, named Times Person of the Year, why would she need PR? Like, why? Especially from someone who's not as famous as her. And if you're saying like, oh, well, she wants to tap into a new market, why would she want football fans to be fans of her music? There's clearly not a demographic correlation there. So I think people who say that are grasping for straws. And the reality of the situation is just putting on some eyeliner with Rimmel London Scandal Eyes. I use brown eyeliner, by the way. Is that Taylor and Travis just have a very widely spoken about relationship because they're both like two of the biggest players in their industry. Travis Kelce's one of the most famous football players, as I've heard. I don't play football or watch it or anything. And Taylor Swift is one of the most famous artists in the music industry. So there's a huge spotlight on their relationship, right? And that's bound to happen because they're both really famous. And also the way that they like got together was really cute. And also Taylor hasn't had a public relationship in a very long time. The relationship with Joe Alwyn, which was 6 years, was a very private relationship. And yeah, I mean, back in the day, Taylor Swift's relationships were also really well documented and spoken about and big in the press. It's just things have changed now where it's spoken about a bit more positively because people realize how sexist they were being back in the day. And also, yeah, I mean, football's huge and it gets televised. She goes to the games. She doesn't know they're filming her, but they are. Like this, I don't get it when people say say it's PR. I'm like, why would she need that? That doesn't make any sense. Last one. I feel like Taylor's relationship is getting overexposed. It feels like people almost care more about Travis, sorry, that's their ship name, and Taylor. This might be because I have a deeply ingrained bias against football players. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, obviously if you don't like football players, you're probably not loving this if you're a Swiftie. People get into Taylor's music at all stages in her career. You know, there's people who came on during the pandemic with Folklore and Evermore. There's people who came on during Midnights. There's people who came on during when the Eras Tour started. And I definitely think there's a group of people who say that they're fans, but really they're not. They just enjoy the spectacle and the romance of
I'm not done talking yet. You will speak when I'm done.
Oh, honey.
Girl, security.
Alrighty guys, my camera battery died and I was downstairs waiting for it to charge, and by then half of the makeup I put on is probably soaked into my face. So that indicates to me that I've been speaking for a very long time if I chewed through my whole camera battery. And honestly, this was a bit of a flop. Get ready with me. I was gonna say it's nothing a little lip gloss can't fix, but I can't find my lip gloss, so we're just gonna put on some dermal therapy lip balm because this stuff does add the gloss. But yeah, honestly, I do kind of like this makeup look still. Like, I am kind of enjoying the more low-key makeup vibe, but yeah, we need to do something about this skin, because like, I did not think when I was a teenager struggling from getting pimples and acne that I'd be 24 still having that. So we ride. But yeah, anyway, this video was quite chaotic, but I hope you enjoyed just a little fun chit chat, get with me, reacting to your unpopular opinions and whatnot. And okay, my camera's stuck. Oop, hello. The allergies are not working, but I am gonna end this video here because it's too chaotic. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts. If you have any more unpopular opinions, if you want to discuss anything further, make sure you subscribe and have the bell on so you don't miss my upcoming videos. Exciting stuff coming, really honing in back on that Vampire Diaries series, posting a couple Kardashian videos in between. And if you want to join my Patreon, because I'm about to film a Patreon video, the link is in the description, check that out. And thank you so much to all my patrons for supporting me. I hope you enjoyed the bonus content and I appreciate you. Shout out to all of you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope to see my next one. And as always, I hope that you have a great day or night wherever around the world. Bye!